Good morning, Councilman and Mayor.
Morning.
My name's Josh. I'm an street performer down there. One thing I've noticed going down there every day is waking up and telling myself, hey, I'm not going to be negative today, and I'm going to make someone's day. And I always do. The thing that worries me the most is if this goes through and you have the spots and circles, if I can't get down there, I'm going to lose everything I have. I do this for a living. If I don't make my rent, I lose my place. If I can't make food, I'm going to
Big
starve.
consideration.
Most importantly, you know, everybody here either does it for the fun of it or for the thing of living, food, rent, everything like that. I know I do. And pretty much these guys are like my family. And I don't think you want to tear the family apart.
No, absolutely not, and we want to find something that works.
Yeah, of course. And they're all good people, and I just don't want to see any of them homeless. I've been homeless for 6 years almost, and like now I have a roommate and everything. I just don't want to see anybody go through what I have to go through. And maybe sometime we can, you know, I remember talking to him and Councilor Barlow, and maybe we can have the, maybe the union, and we can do like a win-win kind of thing, you know? And that way, you know, we get what we want, and then what we like 50-50. Because I know if we do the circles, there's going to be violence. If you think about it, if there's violence, what's going to happen to the crime? Because crime might go up, because all the officers are going to be on Fremont and not patrolling there and protecting and serving.
With your permission,
Thank you.
Josh,
Yes.
would you pronounce your entire name for the record, please?
Joshua Race.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down. Next, please.
Hello, my name is Jay Gelman. I'm brother to Dara Goldsmith, attorney at law, and son to Donald Gelman, attorney at law. I'm sorry I started this whole thing, because about 5 years ago, I submitted my proposal, but it did not state in it spots. The idea came from when I was working back in the 90s at Six Flags Magic Mountain, where we had designated areas. They wanted you to be animated. They wanted you to do movement because you could not talk. It was a mind thing. Health-wise, and I spoke with my doctor, if you stand in one spot for any length of time, you can get blood clots, you can get cramps, muscle. Bottom line, I drew up some papers along with my dad with some solutions. This is the proposal I gave to Jervik. This is the
Mr.
proposal
Jervik,
I gave
please.
4 years ago. This is the proposal that they took the rule from, out of, and propose it as what you have today. I did not say spots, I said areas. You have to be able to move. So I would like to give this to the clerk. You guys can look it over. My contact information is there. There's several solutions in there
Thank
to
you.
resolve all this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
In United States law, the term
Nope.
color of law...
Name.
Manfred Yates.
Thank you.
In United States law, the term color of law denotes the mere semblance of legal right, the pretense or appearance of right. Hence, an action done under color of law adjusts the law to the circumstance, yet said apparently legal action contravenes the law. Under color of authority, it is a legal phrase used in the U.S. indicating that a person is claiming or implying the acts he or she is committing are related to and legitimized by his or her role as an agent of governmental power, especially if the acts are unlawful. In other words, no official may enforce law or ordinance that is unconstitutional or unjust. Now, as I stated last time, that under TPM restriction, free speech zones, performance zones, or under some circumstances permitted, and moving zones after a set time under some circumstances is permitted, any suspension of constitutional rights for any amount of time is a suspension of rights and is unconstitutional. As I stated last time, an alternative must be provided to engage in First Amendment rights, and only the President may suspend those constitutional rights for any amount of time under martial law or national disaster. I see no provision under the new ordinance to address this issue. I only see that outside a performance zone, your constitutional rights may be suspended under threat of misdemeanor for a time, if no zone is available to stand in. Is this City Council granted the same authorities as the President of the United States? Is this City Council planning to declare martial law or national disaster in the City of Las Vegas in the near future? As I've stated before, in the event that there is no performance zone to stand in, my wife and I would then refuse to follow this ordinance and hope and will encourage others to follow suit. As for selling Fremont Street, I have heard some City Council members threaten. I would be immensely interested in the explanation of privatizing a street paid for by public dollars. As for street performers being blamed for a significant revenue drop, TripAdvisor specifically states that street performance on Fremont Street itself is ranked 29th of 1,374 must-do activities to engage in all of Las Vegas. Channel 3 states that revenue for casinos in Las Vegas dipped only 1% last year. 1%. City Council campaigns
Mr.
against
Yates.
street performers
That's
is
it.
fictitious in nature.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming down. Next, please.
Greetings and salutations. I am Renee LaRue, known as the Southern Belle from Hell, the other half of Rogue Royalty, the dynamic duo, Pirates of Fremont. Well, I had a million things I wanted to talk about. And I was very shocked. Ricky Barlow hit most of the things that I was going to say right on the head. Bob Coffin, I've adapted. No talent, no taste, no tip. It is a part of my soul. But the only things that I really am worried about, personally, open and gross lewdness, solicitation by coercion, harassment, obscene behavior, and barely dressed performers. YouTube videos of police officers, Metropolitan Police Department officers in uniform, taking photographs with topless Playboy bunnies. Casino employees on their breaks, groping on the derrieres of young performers while wearing a thong. There are good Fremont Street security officers. I've been there 7 years almost, and they work hard. They've been thrown under the bus completely by this because of a few bad apples. So if we're going to make this right, I think we can all work together and make it right. But make Metro follow the law. Fremont Street follow the law. The casinos follow the law. Lead by example. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, my name is Gary Down. I've been Gene Simmons lookalike for about 15 years now. I did it in Hollywood for a while, and I've been here for about 6. On Fremont Street, they proposed 36 spots. From what I understand, there's over 160 characters out there, and what's going to happen with the rest of those characters if we only get the 36 spots out there? They're all going to go up to the Strip, which means basically Fremont Street is getting rid of their problem and giving it to somebody else, if part of that is the problem people. That's number one. Why 36 spots? Why not just forget the spot thing and just patrol the characters, the ones who are causing the problems. I've heard that Robert has a list of people that are not following the rules out there, and supposedly they were going to do something about it, but nothing was ever done. Go after the characters that he has on the list and get rid of them. That way it just solves the problem with running after people, trying to get tips from them, which is aggressive panhandling, charging people money, specific amounts of money, like $5, $10, $20 for a tip, which we don't all do, and it makes us all look bad because everybody thinks that we want $20. I just thought I'll take whatever they give me. I have no problem with that. That's basically all I got to say is,
Thank
the
you.
problem characters, if they're going to be going to another spot, and it's not taking care of the problem. And also, it takes me about 3 hours, 4 hours to put on my makeup because I'm a perfectionist. I get it done right. And if I have to take time in the afternoon to come down to Fremont by 3 o'clock to register to get my spot, it means I got to take off with half the makeup on, go down there, find a bus, get down there. It takes 2 hours to get down there and back to my house. I won't get out till 6 o'clock that night, even though I've registered for a spot.
We
So it's
thank you
gonna
for
take me
coming
forever to get
down,
out.
and your points are well taken. I think we're all on the same page, and it's just, unfortunately, or fortunately, we do have First Amendment rights, and that's what we're fighting. And so what we're trying to do is come to some type of resolve that works for those who really are the entertainers
We
and are
really do wanna work with
well-received
the
and
city
the
and try
public
to-
loves. And so it's really, we have the same issue, and maybe pressure to bear by entertainers against those who are really disgusting and not entertainers. So, next, thank you very much for coming down.
Hello, my name is Brad Priotti, known on Fremont as Lucky Joe. The mentioning about family, there is nothing on Fremont Street which is treated or is there for kids. There are 4 alcohol bars on Fremont Street. Kids are always going right by all these alcohol places. Is that good or bad? I don't think that's good at all. So family in Vegas doesn't always go together, I'm sorry to say. And I am one of the people that many other buskers and people have complained about. I don't wear much, but what I wear is complete art. And what I am down there to do is create smiles and laughter. Excuse me, smiles and laughter. Everyone who comes by gets pictures. They're smiling, laughing, having a good time. I've had comments from London, Sydney, even Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, up in Hoquiam, Washington. They all come with requests or comments by their friends. Make sure you go see Lucky Joe on Fremont Street. And they might be staying down the Strip, and they'll come up to Fremont Street to come see me. I don't know, just for smiles and laughter. But I make everybody smile and laugh somehow. You know, as long as everybody's smiling and laughing, if it's with me or at me, it doesn't matter, as long as they're smiling and laughing. And that's what I'm there to do, and provide visual entertainment for people wearing my very small thongs, etc., which are one of a kind in the world. It's art. Thank you very much.
Your Honor.
Mayor and Council.
Yes, no,
Your Honor,
Councilman.
I have a question for this gentleman. Well, I'm not sure what he
You
does.
know, I think, if you don't mind, Councilman,
Well, it's just-
let's hear from everybody,
I'm sorry.
because
I know,
it's
I know,
only fair.
honestly, I didn't recognize you with the clothes on. So, what character do you play, and then that's it?
Which character?
What are?
Lucky Joe, the guy that wears the thong bathing suit with sling, like a slingshot.
Okay.
You don't have the...
Councilman, I'm cutting you off, too. Next, please, if you would.
Could I pass this up?
You're wasting your time. Why don't you just let our clerk come pick it up and use your 2 minutes, please? You've waited a long time. Thank you.
Jerry Lechner, Mayor, you may call me Jerry L,
Okay.
since you couldn't pronunciate it. I just want to briefly talk about confining shapes and maybe find language that you guys could relate to, because I know that's far distance from, your guys' lives. All right, we're dealing as street performers with confining shapes, 6-foot circles, confining shapes. And let's just translate it to you guys for a second. Let's say some city or state or federal agency came down, and as you get off work, instead of going straight, I'm going fast. I'm going to try to talk fast.
Yeah, right, but that's
I'm gonna talk
okay.
like
You're
30
wasting
seconds.
time asking us
All right,
something.
you guys have orange, blue, and green lines as you exit out of here. There's 7 of you, esteemed councilman and mayor, and you guys only have 3 lines to follow. Once one of you steps foot on it, nobody else can touch it. Then beyond that, you find out that Fremont Street Experience security team was able to reserve 2 of those lines. So suddenly, so the 7 of you suddenly find out that there's only 1 line that you can follow. That is what we're dealing with. 26 performance circles, about 100 people to somehow jam into it. I don't know how it's possible. Also, the FSE should never be allowed to reserve spots for their own people. That is nepotism ordinance. And I want to tie back in a comment that a few months ago Councilman Coffin made in a radio show that I was invited to, you were invited to, Mr. Jerbick was invited to. You had made a very brilliant comment. If Fremont Street Experience wants to regulate more and run it whichever way they want to, they should buy the property from the city and privatize it. Then such measures would be fully commensurate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please, sir. Your picture is right here. Could we hand it back to clerk? Thank you. Your name, please.
Ray Rosedale. I'm not a performer. I just like to watch people have fun down there and have fun myself. I'm going to address two issues. The naked people, Ricky Barlow. I agree with you, but I have mixed feelings about it, and I think that Ricky, excuse me?
Mr. Councilman.
Hi, Mr.
Councilman
Barlow. I don't know. I didn't mean to. All right, but next time you go down there, stand behind the naked person and watch the expressions on the tourist's face. I've actually done this because I'm like, am I a sick person? Do I think this is funny or whatever? And the bottom line is you're going to find the vast majority of the tourists happen to smile and giggle or whatever at the naked people, as absurd as they may be. So the bottom line is we've stigmatized ourselves. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, Sin City. If you got kids, take them to Disney World, because they shouldn't be in Vegas, and you got billboards running up and down Las Vegas Boulevard with naked ladies. Eliminating the street performers is not going to take away nudity from the children, because you got those card flippers, you know what I mean? It's all over the sidewalk. Okay, the only thing that I'd like to say is as far as, oh geez, I forgot my second point. I think that this whole thing originally started about the homeless people with the signs. And now we're kind of taking it out on the street performers, because what you're going to end up doing is scaring the really good quality performers out of town. They're going to go to another city and contribute to their tourism. In the meantime, you got all these bums with signs saying, I'm a bum with the sign, give me some money. Why don't you put them in a certain spot? You know what I mean? And let these guys contribute to the tourism. And before I run out of my time, I think that if we could form a union with bylaws and regulate ourselves, that would take care of everything and give us some time to structure that, or whoever's doing it, Michael Moore.
So you're elected. You're elected.
I'll help out.
Here you have a union leader right there. Go to him.
I'll do it.
Thank you very much. Next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Denton Keener. I moved here about 6 months ago. Kind of fascinated with the whole Fremont Street thing. Just an eclectic mix of everything, kind of like a melting pot. So we've come to divide ourselves, what's taste, what's not. I kind of always looked at Vegas as the free speech capital of the planet. Not just America, the planet, you can do anything. Not the Sin City's slogan, just like it's a melting pot. It came from an area where it was not a melting pot. They didn't like other races. But here, everybody works together. It's fine, generally. It kind of bothers me a little bit. It's based on the economic growth of downtown. It doesn't really mention recessions that we've gone through, greater market things. Housing, Vegas was number 2, I think, next to Orlando on property. So to unload all this on street performers are the cause of the problem, I don't think it's fair. Free speech is free speech. I don't think it should be separated by distance, where and when. It's a public place. I think there's a better solution to our answer to our problem. What do? Leave people alone, let them be. The market will set the tone. People automatically leave when they don't make any money. They won't keep coming out there, it's stupid. Rational thought person won't go out there and stand there for 10 hours for $5. So the market will take over. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Julie Langell, and I get very nervous about
Don't be
public
nervous.
speaking, so
You'll
please
do
bear
fine.
with me. I like what you said about being positive and being helpful and proactive. I think that's really important. I think all these ordinances tend to be looked at in a negative way, and things get negative. So in being proactive about the nudity, because I don't like the nudity, I think that we should have some designated area. If we're having these designated spots, could we have a kids' corner? Can we make a space specifically for the children so that they can see these things in one area? And so that when the families come down, they know they can go to that area and that it's going to be great and their kids are going to have a good time. That was all I had to say. Thank you very much.
Good job. Good job.
Hi, Mayor. Hi,
Hi there.
Council. My name is Gerald Morrison. I do actually two costumes down on Fremont. First one, I'm a slim baby. I'm the baby of Las Vegas, the lost baby in Las Vegas. And I also do levitation. And I do the levitating down on the pole where I'm sitting on the seat, don't say nothing. People come up, take pictures of me. They leave a tip if they want to. If they don't, great. But anyway, I just want to let you know, after the last meeting, I noticed a lot of characters are getting beat up on Fremont Street by bullies, whatever. Unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, it was on a Saturday, I was down on Fremont Street levitating. Some guy comes up and says, "How do you do this?" And I joked around, I said, "Helium." He said, "Oh, I can make you levitate." So he grabs me back the hair of the head. The other guy swings, hits me in the nose. So I look around, no security. I have to bring my jacket off, pull myself out, get out. I'm looking for security. This guy's got me. I luckily fall off. I land on the guy. I got him down. The other two guys are kicking me like this, all the way across the street to Binion's. I get to Binion's front door, close to it. I'm still getting kicked repeatedly while I'm beating this one guy in the head because he's hitting me in the nose. No security around. I've noticed on Fremont, the security on Fremont is unpredictable. On a Monday night, Tuesday night, they're all over the place on bicycles, enjoying the music. But on a Friday and Saturday evening, they're off somewhere having Dunkin' Donuts and coffee. Because Saturday night, this occurred on me. And I seen all the Binion's security guards sitting at the front door watching me get my ass beat. And nobody wanted to help, but which I protected myself. I went out to look for security. Nobody came by. Had a gentleman that is a busker here that went and videotaped the people. He called security several times trying to get them to come.
Thank you.
Finally, about 20 minutes later, Baker 7
Thank you.
comes,
Thank you.
scrolling up. And says,
Thank you.
"Are you
You know,
okay?"
security is,
Yeah.
it's very important to
And
all of us.
It is,
And-
and I believe that is the number
And
one
we are
problem
working
out
very
there.
closely. We have tremendous metro and marshals, and I know for law enforcement's perspective and from ours, we want to make sure everybody's safe, our entertainers as well. So thank you, your
But
time's up.
one
Thank
final
you.
thing.
No, that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next, please, sir, and say your name for us.
Hello, my name is Zenon Obuchowski, and I've been a street performer for a little over 5 years. I primarily do Paul Stanley of KISS, and I've taken pride in representing KISS for over 5 years, and people come down from all over the world to come take pictures with us. First, aside from doing the freelancing either on Fremont or on the Strip, I also do private parties, corporate events, and I'm a minister at the Hotter Than Hell Wedding Chapel. So Fremont is not the only place where I go ahead and show up and do this. But being a KISS guy, so to speak, there are times where I work with one other person or two other people or three, and by having 6 feet, you can't fit 4 people in a 6-foot circle. It's just ridiculous. And even if we did squeeze in like that, when people get in for pictures, it's going to be way beyond 6 feet. So that's just not practical. And aside from that, it takes me about an hour and a half to get ready. So there's no way I'm going to get ready in an hour and a half and then come down and try to find a spot and possibly be turned down because all the spots are taken. There's just not enough spots. Aside from that, I think, you've got a lot of these bucket drummers, if they could be possibly relegated to an area in front of the 3rd Street stage. There's that whole big spot between Pizza Rock and the 3rd Street stage. That would make sense for them. As far as policing all this, I find it kind of interesting and kind of laughable, actually, because whenever there's a spill, it seems like there's one mop for all of Fremont Street, and it'll take from 10 minutes to a half hour for someone to come up with a mop and clean up a spill. So how are you going to police all this? Aside from that, the issue of nudity. There's issue of nudity by businesses on Fremont Street exceeds the semi-nudity by performers. There's nudity by the Golden Gate, the D, the strip clubs, Chippendales, and the nude statue that was put up recently.
We appreciate it. Thank you, but I liked your comment on the mop. We have to follow that. Thank you. Good afternoon. Please state your name.
Good morning. My name is Bruce Peck. I'm a professional street performer for almost 25 years, and I've been a resident in Las Vegas since October of 2010. So in about 5 more weeks, it'll be 5 years that I've been here performing. Of the approximately, who really knows, 200 performers using Fremont on a weekly and or monthly basis, I've been in town so long that there's only about 10 or 15 of us that have been here as long or longer than I have. So if that gives you some idea of the transient nature of Fremont Street or street performing in general, street performers just by definition are not, you know, house and picket fence type people. And we move around, we travel, we go where the weather is, where the money is, where the crowds are, and wherever, you know, our whim takes us. One of the beautiful things about being a professional street performer is that you get to travel and see the world. And unfortunately, in my travels, I have to say unfortunately, as an American citizen, in the 25 countries I've traveled through and performed in, and approximately 35 U.S. states, the United States is the only place I've ever experienced these issues. I've never been threatened with arrest or arrested in any other country except for my own. I've never been beaten by police in any other country except for my own. I've never had false charges pressed against me in any other country except for my own. I've never been accused of being a pedophile as a street performer in any other country except for my own. And in the 5 years I've been in Las Vegas, every single one of these incidents, as I just described, have happened to me here in Las Vegas while performing on Fremont Street, both by Metro officers and by Fremont Street security. If I were to give it a percentage, I'd say 5 or 10% by Metro, 90–95% by Fremont Street security. It's not a pleasant environment out there for street performers. There's antagonism going on.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming down. Next.
I'm Stanley Washington, and I'd like to have Michael Moore to speak for me, for me and the council.
Why? Did he already speak?
He's already spoken, Mary.
We can't
State your name
come
again for
back.
the record, please.
Stanley Washington. I'm a street performer.
Okay. And once you've had your chance to speak, that's all you get. So you have your 2 minutes, sir.
He's going to give up his. He could give another 2 minutes to Mr. Moore. That's it. Just his 2.
You guys said earlier if somebody represents a group and our president represents a group of 140 street performers, he would get 5 minutes. So at the least he should get 5 minutes minus the 2 minutes he already talked. He's going to talk for this guy. He's going to talk for Chris. He's going to talk for multiple people. That's by
It's
your
here,
own.
the people that are here,
That's
not
right.
the 100 that aren't here.
Right.
So
But there's
what we
2
have,
people that are
Mr.
gonna
Moore has
request
been
for
up
him
and
to talk.
spoken 2 minutes, and Mr. Washington would like to give him his 2 minutes. That's fine. Mr. Moore can speak those 2 minutes. So, Mr. Moore, come back up. You have 2 more minutes. Thank you, Mr. Washington.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, 2 more minutes.
Greetings again, and this is such a complex subject that it's very hard to get it into the minute. I met with Mr. Jurevich after the last meeting, and we discussed several things. And during that meeting, he agreed to an independent third-party card check to prove that we represent a majority. That establishes a majority status that gives us the legal right to negotiate on behalf of a majority of 140 performers on Fremont Street. I have a solution that can insulate the city, Fremont Street, and Metro PD from constitutional lawsuits if we can sit down and talk about it. It doesn't have to be a formal negotiation, but I would love to have maybe a half hour, an hour with the entire council in a meeting where we could discuss this. And I can give you all the ideas, and then you could get back to me, and then maybe we can go to the next step. because I realized that lawsuits are going to come out of this. For 35 years, I was a UFCW representative, a special representative and attorney for that union and 2 other unions. I'm a street performer now because I'm in semi-retirement. And I know that maybe with Mr. Coffin seeing me and thinks I don't have any credibility, this was a past life that I had. And I reinitiated that because I saw several months ago this was going to be a disaster. And all the attorneys were going to make the money out of unraveling this mess. And meanwhile, we would have almost 200 people suffer on it. The city would lose money through litigation, and we'd still have to throw the things out because of constitutional issues. Now, I'm a reasonable person. I'm willing to, when I met you the first time I spoke here, I saw in your eyes that you want a solution. And I changed from going into war mode, calling a strike for these people, which we could do an indefinite strike and still perform under the law and be out there longer than the Frontier strike. That's a war plan. But I'm old enough and experienced enough that when I see the possibility for negotiations are there, it softens my heart and go, wait, we can actually fix this and be an example for every city that has this problem. And it could start something new that other cities would do, showing the government and the citizens working together for a positive change. But I keep getting ignored here and over here, and it's very frustrating, you know. So would you entertain an idea of a meeting with all of us, a private meeting?
We have to go through our council on all of this is where
Well,
we're headed. So Mr. Jervik.
I'll make my time available.
With Mr. Jervik. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming back. Ma'am? Oh, excuse me, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor, Councilman. My name is Gregory Poindexter. I'm known as GP Entertainer, multi-vocal impressionist of 6 decades. I'm also a Rick James impersonator. I've been living in Vegas 16 years. I came here, I was homeless for almost 2 years, down on Fort Master. Built my way up. Make a long story short, went through temp services. I've done armed and unarmed security. I come here to be an entertainer because that's what I do. I do many mimic impressions of legendary singers. I've won multiple contests here, done senior citizens home, City of North Las Vegas, Shade Tree. I've done a lot of benefits here in this city. Won a lot of contests, have been made the weekly, the City Life, yet I cannot get hired in any of these casinos or production companies here. Make a long story short, I am forced to be on the streets as an entertainer, okay? But because I love to entertain. I bring a very clean and professional act to the Fremont and to the city of Las Vegas. Even families come up and have their children come up to tip. My partner and I, we have a wide journey of classic music from the 50s all the way up to 2000, okay? My problem is this 2-hour thing and changing and not knowing if I'm going to be able to work the necessary 5 to 6, 7 days sometime I need to work. Okay, that's the only problem that I have. Just not knowing if I'm going to be able to, if I get register, am I going to be able to work every day the hours I need? I only need 4 or 5 hours out there. So that's what I like to bring to the council. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we heard you speak at the open meeting, and I did think about it. And I thought, you know, if in fact this prohibits enough time, that you'd have to go outside the Fremont Street experience, because there's so many people that have such great talent that are part of this pool that do perform down on Fremont Street. But just to be fair to everybody and trying to get our arms around this and find the solution, certainly if you need more time, you just would have to, as it is currently positioned, to go to some other area beyond the Fremont Street experience. It doesn't stop you from performing. But there are so many talented individuals here in our community. I mean, we really understand that, and we really see that issue, that how do you have enough time in a locale to earn the money you need to support yourself and your family. So appreciate your coming down. It is something that we really think about very seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
My name's Valerie Bailey. I'm a street performer. I'm actually the new nun down there. And I know you guys, Mr. Kaufman, I would be the nuns. You guys say things about the nudity and the guys wearing the thongs. There's dancers up on the bars in shorts, you know, where you can see their butts. I take a lot of pictures. I have people come up to me and say, my father was here a month ago and told me we need to come and see the nuns. I know not everybody likes it, But we even have people that take pictures with their kids with this, so I guess it's just your own opinion, what you like. But we should not be, set aside because we're nude. Just like when tourists come, there's bars down there that hand out pasties encouraging to be worn down there. I'm just saying that, maybe you should look. I know maybe you guys don't like the nudity, but there's other people it does. And I have my own Facebook page. I have over 1,000 people on it who liked it, who's posted pictures of themselves with me on it.
Well, keep in mind, there are other parts of the city where you can perform.
Okay, and
That's all. I mean, we just get so many emails and letters, if I may. And I'm going to give you back your 46 seconds, but I want to tell you the numbers of phone calls and emails and follow-ups and texts that we get about the nudity and how you are driving our tourists away. It is your prerogative. It is your prerogative to do it. I'm just telling you what the customers feel. And if in fact you go...
there's customers that like it too.
Well, but that's fine.
If we don't perform on Fremont, you're going to push the nudity to the strip where it's more kid-friendly, where there's circus and all that. There's nudity out on the strip too. Are you guys doing anything about that?
Okay, well, restart her 46 seconds. I just want to make sure she has them.
Because I know several people who stand nude on the strip. Are you guys making rules down there too?
That's the county, we're in the city.
Okay.
So many things. Next, please state your name.
Hi, my name is Adam Flowers. I'm the president and founder of SPAN, the Street Performers and Artists of Nevada. We founded SPAN a year ago and retained Alan Lichtenstein as our attorney in hopes that we could put together something, a system that would self-regulate. We want to thank Mr. Jerebick and Fremont Street Experience people for listening to us and inviting us to meetings to sit down and discuss these things and these ordinances. Although there are a few things in the ordinance, the current ordinance, that we think could help make the street even better. One of the problems, or one of the things that we see is the sound in this ordinance. Right now, we're allowed to be 85 decibels and 75 decibels within specified time frame and outside, meaning during the 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., we are only allowed to be 75 decibels, and then during 1 a.m. on through 3 p.m. the next day through the night, we're allowed to be 85 decibels. That should be reversed. When the ambient noise, as another gentleman brought up, is louder out there on the street, we should be allowed to be louder. Doesn't make sense when people are trying to sleep in the hotel rooms that that's when we can, bang our drums louder or turn our amplifiers up. The space, number of spaces, during the last meeting, I introduced a map and said we found a way to create 45 spaces. Mr. Jerebick said that if I was clever enough to put that many spaces out there, that you would all be all with it. And I think that the least restrictive as possible means the most amount of space as possible. Also, there is a lottery system, it says in this, the ability to create a lottery system, and I don't think that that should be done without input from the street performers.
Thank you for your points. Well said and well presented. Thank you very much. Keep working on this. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Carlos Salazar, and I work as a street performer.
Okay. Go slowly and say your name so the clerk can write it.
Carlos
And sorry,
Salazar.
I don't mean to be offensive to
It's
you,
okay,
but spell it for us.
I'm so
No, no.
excited to be here. By the
No,
way.
you're fine.
My name is Carlos Salazar, and I work on Fremont Street as a street
Carlos
performer.
Salazar.
Yes.
Got it.
And I'm known as the Spartan guy. I disagree a lot with a lot of my peers. I mean, I've been doing the street character for 7 years. I've been in Las Vegas for 10 years. As a citizen, I really don't want to see any more naked people out there. I agree with you guys. I want to say, it brought the business to the floor. It's terrible. A few years ago, we all stayed in a straight line We wouldn't even approach the customers or people or the tourists. People will come to us, take a photo. We wouldn't even take pictures during the light shows. Now, all these bad apples that came to Fremont like a year and a half ago, they go to the people, they start hassling them. It's just a circus. For the last 2 months, I've been going on the street because I'm sick and tired of seeing all of this. And I mean, like I said, I've been a male performer for 15 years. I work in every single club here in Las Vegas. And I have not seen in those places the outfits that these naked people wear on Fremont. It's just, oh my God, it's, no. Now, suggestions for doing this. Yes, if they want to express their freedom of speech, do it. Do it after 12 p.m. Now, well, there's young people on the street. I mean, yes, be totally naked if you want. I mean, I cannot say or fight that. But don't do it during the peak hours, which is from, I would say, 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. If you want to do it after that, be my guest. I'm not there anymore. I have a big problem also with the circles and first come, first serve. Because let's say this is how I pay my bills nowadays. If somebody from LA or England is coming and doing their little...
Write down any other suggestions you have. Make sure you get them to
Because I'm not
Mr.
local.
Jerbick,
I don't want
please.
to take my... I don't want somebody taking my job.
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, give it through to us, please. And anyone else, please come, please come forward and state your name.
My name is Mitchell Schomburner. I am a street performer. I have done it in New Orleans, Hollywood, and now here. I don't think the problem is the spaces. I don't think that's the problem. Yes, I'll admit there are bad apples out there. But we're trying to enforce much as we can. We can only do so much. Now, if Metro and security guards would actually start getting off their butts and doing their jobs and working with us, we could get more done. But we need help. We can only do so much. I'm sorry. We've tried to make a union thing. We've tried to keep to the rules. We've tried to enforce the rules. But there are some guys out there that just go out there to be pain in our butts. They won't listen. They won't be professional. They keep doing what they want to do, and they don't listen to us. If we want problems solved on both sides, it's not spacing we need. It's not timing we need. We need backing to get the security, Metro, sheriffs, whoever, to start helping us out to get these things done. We have done as much as we can.
Thank you.
And we are willing to work with you all, but we need backing out there. We need more help.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We agree with you. You need support and help. Thank you. Anyone else? Please come forward, state your name.
Hello, my name's Norma McDonald, and I'm not a street performer, but I have toured the casinos and this Fremont Street for the last 3 months. I think what you're looking for is solutions and not what I heard today.
Correct.
One of the solutions that I think should happen is I don't think you should use circles or virtual cages to lock in the performers out there. I think you should mark where they should not be. If you're going to mark something, that's what should be marked, so that way they know they should be a distance of where they're not supposed to be, and they need to work out amongst themselves, or, as I heard, there's 2 representatives that represent a group of these groups, and they should all join either one of the groups, and those 2 representatives should self-police with their groups those bad apples that are out there that should not be out there and are aggressive, because I have experienced one of those aggressive bad apples, and I don't agree with the way they did it. As far as the dress code, I think that those who are underdressed or you feel are underdressed, there's clothing out there that they could buy that's the same color as skin. So they could wear that. That's a suggestion. So
Thank you very
That's
much
all I
for
have to
coming
say.
forward. Appreciate it. Anyone else before I close public hearing?
Brandon
Okay, we have one more gentleman, and then I do want to turn this back over to Brad Jerbick.
Good afternoon. My name is Brandon Summers. I'm a street performer, violinist, and a local resident. Thank you again, City Council, Mayor Goodman, for taking the time to hear this matter. I did send an email to all of you to hopefully that clear some suggestions up that I had, or made them known, excuse me. A lot of this, I think, can be fixed with one simple thing, and that simple thing is enforcement. As somebody mentioned before, that I've walked up and down Fremont Street on several occasions. I live not too far away from here, not too far from Fremont Street, and there's not really a police presence out there at all. And I think just that alone, even the ordinance that was passed in 2011 would be effective if there was a presence. So that's all I have. I think there's still more work to be done, but I thank you for pushing this back a couple of weeks to look into
And
it.
do keep your thoughts coming. I mean, I think we know enforcement of whatever we're doing is critical. If you expect something to happen, you have to inspect it and you have to enforce it. So we really appreciate it, and thank you all for coming down and your patience waiting this morning. And as I said, it's a work in progress, and now I'm going to close the public hearing portion. And Mr. Jerbick.
Before he concludes, Mayor,
Yes.
with your permission, and where Brandon get to Mr. Flowers and I get the opportunity to visit with Mr. Flowers and Mr. Summers yesterday. And I want to tell you, Brandon, how proud I am of you, of what you gave to me yesterday, and appreciate you bringing that information to me, and assure both of you that I will be sitting down with Mr. Jerbick to discuss those issues clearly and concisely so he can understand my point of views as well. So, Brandon, good job for bringing that to me. I'm just proud of what you did. Thank you.
But adding to that, that doesn't mean anything less of anything else any of you are trying to espouse or make happen here. Again, we're trying to come to a good solution where tourists want to come downtown, and we do not like hearing from visitors and organized groups and convention goers that we are never coming back to Fremont Street because it's disgusting. So many of the suggestions that have been made, I know from Mr. Jerbick and I know from council, we will continue to work on this work in progress. What we want is some place that's wonderful and exciting to be, safe, and where entertainment is really entertainment. So Mr. Jerbick, please go ahead.
Can I say anything, Madam
Yes,
Mayor?
please.
I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, Brandon, your letter and the other letters we received, they had some very good points in them. And I think we can move positively and we can work together. But I must tell you that I, for one, feel very strongly the best way would be if you could police yourself. And that would be the best way. And I want to tell you also that the casinos, if they have security guards, many times those security guards only have authority in the casino. They're not supposed to get out. If they go out, they get fired because they're putting at jeopardy the casino management. I wanted to mention those things. I have gotten so many letters, and this is not in my ward, but I've gotten so many letters for people who are disgusted with what they see. And I must tell you, I am offended at the nuns. I am Catholic. And I will tell you that I don't think you would do that for a Muslim religious representative. I don't think you would do it for a black woman minister. But you know what? Because it's a more traditional type thing, you do it against the Catholics. And I have been with Catholics who have gone down that street. Don't you think some of us have feelings too? And the interesting thing is, that's one of the two things that's mentioned most often in the letters I received. That they are disgusted with the nuns, and also with the guy with the penis that's 10 feet long or whatever it is. Those two things are mentioned over and over. But you know what? I like going places, and I love art, and to hear music, and I like art from people that are ordinary people. And so it'd be wonderful if we could do this, and we could all work hard together. I just wanted to mention that to yourself, and now the police, you know, that bill got passed by the county, so maybe we'll be able to get a little more policing downtown also. Thank you.
Thank you.